What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Hand Tight Racing YouTube channel. It's been a long time since I've seen you guys, so bear with me if I'm a little camera shy. It's been, I don't know, three, 4 months now, but we're back at it like a track addict, as Jared Deanda would say. We're still doing the giveaway car. It's actually in the shop, still getting painted. It's taking forever and a day. But I got a blazing deal on it, so I can't really complain. It's gonna come out great. The whole car had to be stripped down, as you guys seen in an earlier video where he was doing that, but I'm not really sure on his progress right now. I haven't talked to him in a bit. I'm just kind of letting him do his own thing, and when it's done, and then you guys know about it. We already got the t-shirts. Those will be available soon as the car gets done, because that's kind of how we're gonna run the sweepstakes. Is basically it's gonna be like any other sweepstakes. Every X amount of dollars you spend gets you an entry, and then so on with it. But we got some new exciting stuff going on. I moved locations again, and we have our own shop, kind of like our own Hand Tight Racing headquarters, as I would like to say. I'll give you guys a shop tour, but what this video is going to be about is the height adjustment and separate spring and shock preload on an S550 specifically. Some other vehicles are very similar. Most separate spring and shock stuff is pretty similar to it, just the components look a little different. But yeah, let me show you what's going on in here. So this is it. As you can see, we got our trailer and everything there, and then Jeremy's ghetto camo truck. Pretty cool little spot, 8-foot door. Mustang fits in there. I'll show you how I verified that. I think this building measured out to be 17 wide by 34 long. So it goes back there. It's got another bay door back there. And I'll kind of show you, I'll take you inside and you can kind of see what's going on in there. So this is our humble workspace. Doors manual, whatever, I don't care. It's dry in here, and it's got concrete. Maybe we'll get a max jack or something, I don't know, we'll have to figure it out. We're currently prepping this car, Tyler's car, for Fuel Fest, which is this weekend. We also picked up some toe plates, and then that's part of my 26-piece patio set. The 24 beers are coming. We got Tom's transmission and coilovers that he still hasn't come picked up, so that's kind of whack. Went to Harbor Freight, just decided to get all new tools. This was like, I think this was like 270 bucks. It's 301 pieces. We got some other stuff too. Some ratcheting wrenches, some adjustable wrenches. I just picked these spanner wrenches up because we don't know what happened to the ones that came with the kit. But yeah, we also picked up this bad unit. This is a Miller-Matic 185. Oh, and those very large wrenches. Miller-Matic 185. I think these waters go for around $3,000. We scooped this one up for $250. Shout out to Dougie on that one. Plugged us in. We're gonna be using that to weld Tyler's roll cage in when it finally gets here. There's wiring for 220 up there, but the previous tenant took his plug, which is fine by me. And then it's got a bunch of outlets everywhere, so it's nice and crazy, but it's better than anything we've ever had of our own, where we could work pretty much anytime we want to. Not pretty much, we can work anytime we want to out here. My parents live next door too, so that's cool. They're always giving me stuff and feeding me and whatnot, so that's pretty sick. But yeah, happy to be in here, happy to have somewhere to work on the cars. Hoping we'll be bidding on my car in the next couple of days, if we can make that work, and then I'll have a new drift car and we will build it right in this spot right here. But let's jump right into this separate spring and shock preload, and I'll show you guys how to do that for some of you that don't understand quite how that works. We'll go into in this case, our BC coilovers are already installed. We're just making a height adjustment, so it's a little different if you're doing a first time install, but you should be able to put that together watching this video. What we're gonna do is unbolt these two up here, because the shock length is what controls the spring preload. So the shock holds tension on the spring. It also controls the spring with the dampening. So I'm gonna get these off, these two up here, they're 18s. And then that should release most of the tension on the spring. Because of the way these are designed, there still is a little bit of preload. Most people will droop the subframe to get the spring out and stuff like that, because the arm doesn't have very much articulation. So we'll pull that off and see what we got. Just pop in here. Bust that one off. Bust that one off. And as you can see, our spring doesn't have much preload on it now because there's nothing holding it in place. Next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna try and do this height adjustment with the spring or the height adjuster in. I don't know, I'll probably have to have Matt like push down on the rotor until I at least get the lock rings loose and get them moved to where there's not so much length in the entire assembly. I don't know if it's gonna work out, but I'll see you on the other side of this and we'll both know. All right, so there was nothing doing with that. I'll show you how we got it off on the other side, which is, I probably should have done it on this side because it's a little tighter over there. I think we can make it work. But I'll explain to you what we did rather. So I had Matt stand there, and then I just shoved that pry bar into the spring, and then pried it out. So we're about to make our height adjustment. As you can see, we were pretty much at max high there. I think I'm gonna take it down about an inch, see what that does. It should be better. We're not really going for any specific fitment, but not as high as it was. So my logic here is we're gonna measure the top of the height adjuster because I don't really wanna bend my tape up getting it in there. We use these for toe blades, so wanna keep them kind of fresh. So if you put the tape measure flush with that, we're at about a 1/2 inch right there. So we're gonna lower these lock rings. We want an inch of drop from where it was. And it's not gonna be an exact inch because of where the spring is located. It'll be less, but we're gonna take this till the measurement says 1.5 inches. So we're gonna do that. So we got it all adjusted after fighting with getting it loose, but it wasn't that bad. And we're at 1.5 inches. So let's see what that does to it. That's almost max low. So I'm hoping I didn't lower it too much. I don't think it'll be a big deal on a 14 kg spring, but we got it adjusted. And then we're gonna try and wrestle this thing back in here, and you'll kind of see how we're gonna do that because I won't forget to set up the camera this time. That actually went a lot smoother than I anticipated. I did get a little battle scar, nothing major though. Now I'm gonna show you how to set the preload properly on these things. It's kind of a pain to get in there to measure, but it's got to be done. These should have 7 to 10 millimeters of preload to avoid any clunking noises or anything like that. 7 is the minimum. That'll put the spring on the softer side. 10 is the maximum. That'll put the spring on the stiffer side because as you compress the spring, it gets more stiff. We're going for softer on this one, so we will be looking for right around 7. I'm going to try my best to get a 1/4 inch of preload on this thing. So what we're going to do first is we're going to measure the spring, and we're going to measure it from, it's like I said, it's a pain to get in there, but it's the furthest out, the open wound portion of the bottom. It's got no preload on it right now. We're going to measure from there to the top of the spring, not including the isolators of the height adjuster because those don't move. We're going to measure that and then get a jack under there, jack it up, and take some measurements, and then once it's right, I'll adjust the shock and put that back in place. All right, so like I said, it's kind of a pain to get in there. I'm gonna do my best though. And then I know basically where the open wound portion of the spring is. It's in the back here, so we're gonna get that flush. And it looks like we're right at 9 1/8. So, of my calculations, we need to be at 8 7/8, I think. And that'll give us right around a 1/4 inch preload. All right, so we double measured it with Matt holding the light, and we got 9 1/4 again. I'm probably gonna have to break that down into like a decimal to really get what I'm after, because I want the perfect amount of preload on this. I don't want to fuck this up because I want this car to rip harder than it already does. So we're gonna get the jack under there, jack up on the control arm until we get, I think it was like 8 7/8. I think that should be a 1/4 inch, right? I'm not good with fractions, man. See, we need a tape measure that's in millimeters. That would really help me. But yeah, we're gonna get a jack under there and jack it up until we got that. All right, so now we got our 8 7/8 length from the open wound portion of the spring, which compresses first because it's the most inner to the arm. It's slanted geometry. And as you can see, our shock is now too long because this is the previous setting for the height. So every time you change your height, you got to change your preload. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bust this bottom lock ring loose, and then I'm going to rotate this shock until that lines up. We still got pressure on the jack to hold our preload. And then once we get this bolted back up, this side will be pretty much done. Other than now I have to realign the entire thing because we changed all the geometry. Fun. So we got the shock loose, as you can see here. I think that should be enough room based on this. But what we're gonna do next is start rotating the shock body down into the lower mount until we can get them lined up with these holes, get them mounted up, boys, and then this side is done, other than the alignment, like I said. All right, so this side is done. As you can see, we put the bolts back in, red Loctite on those. We use red Loctite. I don't know if it requires that, but I'm pretty sure it had blue on it when it came from the factory. So a little red won't hurt because this car goes through a lot of vibration, having unbalanced wheels and all that, being a drift car. Then we tightened our bottom lock ring, and the lowering process on this side should be complete. All right, so you don't have to pause it. So what we're gonna do now is get the other spring out, and I'll show you exactly how we did it on the other side. So Matt's gonna stand on there, not right this second, and then we'll get that thing pried out of there. So we got our height adjuster out. As you can see, we just he stood on it. I pried at it. If you know how to use a pry bar, you should be able to figure it out from that. And then we're gonna take this over to the workbench, get these lock rings loose, clean these threads a little bit just so we don't run into any issues. And then lower the car and get it, basically do the same thing we did on that side, or this side, the driver's side. So yeah, we'll get right to it. All right, so now that we've did our height adjuster, and it's at the exact same measurement as the other side, which doesn't always mean that it's going to be the exact same, but I don't care if it's the exact same because I'm not going for looks. This is for functionality purposes. Weight distribution stuff could be heavier on this side than it is on the other side due to in-car equipment and stuff like that. It's a whole mess, but it's close enough. We're gonna get the spring back in now, set our preload on this side, and then we'll pretty much be done here with this portion of it, and then we'll get this sucker aligned. That's going to be it for this one. We appreciate you guys watching. We appreciate you guys subscribing. Stay tuned for that giveaway car. I know it's been a long time, but in the end, when it comes out and it's done, it'll be worth it, and it's done right. It's got all the goodies on it, and it's going to look fabulous. So until next time.